From a land far away, but closer than you think, comes a story that can't be told with just pen and ink. A story not written in black and in white, but in greens and reds, with costumes and light. The tale of one who thought he didn't belong, and the love that proved that such thinking was wrong. So gather in close, no matter how far, for we all need to know exactly whose we are. Our story begins in a quaint little town where the spirit of Christmas was always around. But then comes December and Bedlam ensues, setting up trees, baking cakes, buying new pairs of shoes, scuttling and buttling, singing songs, playing games. But not all Whos in Whoseville enjoy it the same. To say the Grinch was grinchy is an understatement at best. Trust me when I say this, don't put him to the test. He's a mean one, they say. Ask any single Who. When bad things happen, he's near with his little dog too. On this certain day, he caused extra stress when he cut out a huge chunk of Martha May's dress. Everyone saw and knew what he did. They scolded. And the Grinch ran and hid. Some were afraid, some were angry, some sad. But one new Grinch needed the love that she had. Alone in his cave, he did not shed a tear, but he muttered in bitterness like he did every year.
December is here with the noise and the cheer. Oh, how can I mute all the singing I hear?
Then the Grinch had the thought that puzzled his brain.
What do those Whos have that I don't?
Then he said with a strain,
They give gifts, send cards, make cakes and sing songs. But nobody brings me anything.
And that just felt wrong. He called his dog Max.
Max!
And gave him a drink. Then he sat on a jagged rock to help him to think. Then the Grinch had a thought. He knew what to do.
Without toys, cakes, or Christmas cards, Christmas is through.
He wrote invitations with a nasty yellow smile to the toy maker, baker, and the mailman.
So vile.
He wrote,
Merry Christmas, friends! I am merry indeed. Won't you come to Mount Crumpet for a nice Christmas tea? No need to be scared. I have no evil plot. Why would you think that? See you at 2 o'clock.
he sent them Grinch post and licked each one.
I'll kidnap them, tie them up, and then Christmas is done.
Tony Nuhu, Mary Hudo, and Melvin Delhu received their invite card, which smelled like mildew. They bumbled and tumbled a conflict or two. Should they visit the Grinch? Could they trust him? Could you? Just then, Cindy Lou who was listening at the door, hopped into the room and sat them down on the floor.
The Grinch is not nice, we are fully aware, but maybe he needs Jesus and the love that we share.
Then Cindy made a plan with the Who's there that day to bring something special for the Grinch in their own way. Tony made a toy all happy, soft, and green to show that he was made for more than just to be mean. Mary baked a cake with all the love that she had, so the Grinch knew he was loved even when he was bad. Melvin brought a big green card from the kids in the town, for they cared for the Grinch in spite of his frown. They went to Mount Crumpet with their gifts in their hands. Cindy Lou followed close to encourage the clan. They arrived and they knocked, and the Grinch growled inside.
Growl.
The Who's knees were shaking, but Cindy said with pride,
Mr. Grinch, we're here for a nice Christmas tea. Won't you open the door? We want you to see.
Grinch opened the door with a rope in his grip to tie the Who's up with a flop and a flip. But the Who's held their gifts right up to his face, and the Grinch gasped a gasp and froze right in place.
For you!
Said the toy maker.
God made you special, sir. I carved it and I painted it green and I added extra fur.
Oh, I see the fur. You see the fur? I see the fur.
Then the baker shouted out,
Beautiful.
We love you, Pixie. This cake is green velvet with chocolate with cream.
What's chocolate?
Then the mailman brought over a rather large note, and the Grinch suddenly caught a lump in his throat.
The children all wrote this in the town over there. They all wanted to show you that they all cared.
Cindy Lou Who pushed into the front of the crowd and said in a voice that was confident and loud,
Mr. Grinch, God made you and every piece of green hair, and he loves you so much.
The Grinch gave a blank stare.
Huh?
God sent you a letter to show how much he cares. The Bible tells us what we need to know the most, that he's there.
Where?
You know,
Cindy said.
if you want to know more, back down in Whoseville, something else is in store. They're telling the story of Christmas in a show.
Max! Get my cloak. We're leaving. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you.
They went from Mount Crumpet and back to the town, where a play was beginning. The Grinch quickly
I'm
sat
sitting
down.
Hold on.
There was a who and his wife with a shiny small one. Cindy whispered.
That's Jesus, and he is God's son.
Oh.
Sometimes life is not all it can be, and here we are,
wondering just how far this road may lead.
and here we are. And from the darkness shines a bright burning star, and who we are is changing within our hearts. One night, one moment, everything's changed. One night, one moment, and everything's changed. Tonight is so glorious, so special.
Never feel lonely again.
We are all standing together as friends. Ooh, and everything's changing forever.
One night, one moment.
I don't know him.
Said the Grinch with a look of surprise, and he looked all around with a tear in his eyes.
Don't look at me.
He wondered what this meant and what to do now, so Cindy grabbed his hand and asked,
Do you want to know how?
I've never belonged to anywhere. Not for my whole life.
I belong to Jesus.
So to me and my wife.
Who asked you? Well, whose am I?
asked the Grinch as he lowered his head.
You belong to Jesus too, since he made you.
She said.
God loves you and cares about you, Mr. Grinch.
Then she said.
Close your eyes. This prayer's a cinch.
They all bowed their head and said a short prayer, asking Jesus in their heart and to always be there.
Amen.
The Grinch felt like new. He jumped and he danced. All Whoseville celebrated when they caught a glance.
I know whose I am now.
The Grinch told the whole room.
I used to be sad, angry, and covered in gloom. But now, thanks to Jesus, I found the right way.
The mailman went for a hug.
Whoa, too soon. A fist bump is okay.
The Grinch changed his ways and did his best to be good. The Whos treated him like family, just like Jesus would. He learned how to love and care for his friends, and his broken heart finally started to mend. When the Grinch brought a gift to Cindy Lou Who, her parents were not really sure what to do. She opened the gift and gave the Grinch a big smile. He said she could take care of Max.
For a little while.
You've just seen the story of the Grinch and his friends. I'm sorry to say it's almost at an end. Before you go home and wrap your blankets up tight, we want you to understand something important tonight. God made you and loves you and cares for you too. It doesn't matter if you're a dog, a what,
What?
or a who. Whether you live in a house, train, or car, we all need to know exactly whose we are.